Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for EFA Design Showcase Awards, presentation of industry-leading design excellence. This is a SAGE webinar presented by Rob Simonetti, Tom McQuillen, Nick Carpenter, Tim Gordon, Lori Wegman, and Penny Lake. At this point, I'd like to invite our panelists to introduce themselves, and we will start with Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom McQuillen. I'm the principal of Lizard Rock Designs. I was on the jury and had the honor and privilege of reviewing all these really tremendous projects. And I think you're really going to appreciate the effort and thought that went into the projects.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Carpenter. I'm an associate with LRS Architects in Portland, Oregon. I am a project architect on the Senior Living Studio, and we'll be presenting the Happy Valley project today.
Tim.
Oh, apologies. Good morning, everyone. My name is Timothy Gordon. I'm an associate with Scott Edwards Architecture, and we worked on the Rose Villa, Shorter Lofts, and Madrona Grove project that we'll be presenting today.
I'm Lori Wegman, founder of Wegman Design Group, and we'll be reviewing Moorings Park, Grand Lake, which won an honorable mention.
Hi, everyone. I'm Penny Lake. I'm the Director of Interior Design for Lance Boggio Architects based out of Denver, Colorado. We specialize in senior living communities, and I will be presenting the Davis community today.
Great, thank you. And my name is Rob Simonetti. I'm Senior Living Studio Leader with LaBella Associates in Rochester, New York. I'm also a past SAGE president, and I'm very happy to be moderating this webinar today with such great design. Sorry about that. For those of you not familiar with SAGE, we are the Society for the Advancement of Gerontological Environments, a membership-based organization representing and promoting collaboration between all disciplines in the senior living industry. SAGE is pleased to present AIA-approved webinars every month. Careful planning of educational content presented by fellow colleagues in our professional fields gives you insight into our monthly topic and the opportunity to learn from industry leaders. There is a cost to registering these webinars for AIA certification, and that cost is covered in part by our organization's membership dues. These webinars are free to SAGE members. We do offer a few webinars each year for free, and this is one of those. If you like what you see and hear today and are not familiar with our membership, please consider visiting our website, sagefederation.org, for information on SAGE membership. You will be muted throughout this webinar session. You will have the option to type in questions by clicking on the Q&A button at the top of your screen. We will answer those at the conclusion of the session as time allows. SAGE is an AIA approved provider, and the participants in this course are eligible for one AIA learning unit. Please note that you must be registered for and logged into the webinar to receive the AIA credit or a certificate of completion. And please make sure that the name you used to log in to the webinar corresponds to the name of your registration. SAGE will report credits earned by course attendees to AIA CES and will provide certificates of completion within 1 week if requested. If you did not enter your member number or request a certificate upon registration, please email info@sagefederation.org. The information presented in today's presentation is protected under copyright. And as you read when registering, it is our course description today is to present the Award of Merit and Honorable Mention winning projects of the 2024 EFA Design Showcase. For our learning objectives, we'll understand attributes, challenges overcome, and solutions employed to create award-winning environments for aging. We'll want to understand innovative industry and design trends that represent important design concepts to incorporate into future environments. We'll see how senior housing providers are positively impacting resident quality of life and the experience of staff and family. And we'll gain valuable insights into the design award submission process and review and award process, excuse me. Just a little bit more about Sage. In addition to the monthly webinars I already mentioned, members have access to Sage's annual post-occupancy evaluation. These white papers take a deep dive to investigate how a recently completed environment is working for its owners and occupants. Very often, we focus on a previous Design Showcase award winner for that POE. Members can engage in great industry initiatives focused on design, education, technology, and research. And in addition to our famous member reception parties at EFA, our members receive a 10% discount on EFA conference registration. So you really simply can't go wrong. The Design Showcase is published each year in the spring edition of Environments for Aging. The showcase offers a compilation of architecture and interior design projects representing outstanding, innovative design solutions in a new or renovated senior care environment across the nation. This year, for the 2025 Environments for Aging award competition, registration is now open. Reservations are due November 13th, and the presentation and the submissions are not, final submissions are not due until December 4th. So you have plenty of time still to consider which project of yours you might want to enter and have the ability to still put in a great presentation. If you want to learn more about the competition, go to efamagazine.com. And a little bit about the design jury. Each year, EFA puts together a jury of 14 to 16 jurors selected to review some 50 to 60 project submissions. Each year, the jury makeup is architects, interior designers, providers, consultants, regulators, educators, people very involved in the senior living industry. And each of the submissions is judged based on the competition metrics of aesthetics, experience, that's the experience of the end user, collaboration of the team with stakeholders in developing the project and goals and design solutions, innovation and the operations, and of course, the well-being of residents and building users at the end. An award of merit is reserved for the projects that raise the bar across all of the criteria. Does not mean the project is perfect, but it stands out as an elite project submission that deserves top honors. While an honorable mention is designated for a project that excels in one or more of the criteria, but maybe not all four. Perhaps it's incredibly innovative. The honorable mention seeks to bring attention to those projects which have notable attributes. The jury process is very rigorous. After initial virtual review of all submissions, jurors actually come together for a full-day meeting to discuss the merits of submission finalists and to deliberate on which rise to the level of award. And being past juror member, I can tell you that these are very thoroughly vetted. So those projects we're about to see really do rise to the top. And so with that, we'll turn it over to our award winners. After each project is presented, Tom McQuillen, our jury representative, will share the thoughts of the jury. Let's start with Penny Lake to review the Davis community.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Penny Lake with Lance Boggio Architects, and we are honored to be here today to talk about our project at the Davis community. I wanted to start with a little backstory on the community. The Davis community was founded by Champ Davis about 60 years ago when he created his own community with a skilled nursing building that is still on site. He was looking for a home for his aging mother, and like others before and after him, he couldn't find a home that served all of her needs. So he decided to create his own. In 1966, that building opened, and about 30 years later, they added Champion's Assisted Living to the site. To complete the continuum of care, Lance Boggio was contracted to add independent living and a wellness center. Go ahead, next slide. The original entry to the Davis community was very traditional and historic, so it was important to create a new entry experience dedicated to the identity of a new vision for Davis that brings IL residents and visitors to a more direct entry point to the community. The new vision was a multi-generational connection. Next slide. This is a slide, a picture of the Cornelia's restaurant, which is a restaurant that's based in the wellness center of the community. It was named after Champ Davis's mother. Being located in a gated community, it's not really a drive-by restaurant. It needed to be something really special to draw people in. So Davis hired an executive chef, created an extensive wine menu, and have made this restaurant in a place that you really want to celebrate special occasions. Again, Davis, the whole idea for the Wellness Center was really to create a social hub, not only for the Davis residents, but also for the outside community. It houses, go ahead to the next slide. And we'll see some more pictures of the Wellness Center. So again, a picture of Cornelia's bar restaurant, but it also houses a large indoor pool, a full service 24-hour fitness center, the destination restaurant, a small cafe, and an event center. From a design perspective, the restaurant has a unique shape, upgraded finishes that you would expect to find in a destination level restaurant. Finishes were done to appeal to a multi-generational audience, that the needs of seniors are seamlessly integrated. In the restaurant, we also created a collage of historic photographs on one of the feature walls to reconnect the new development with the history of the site. The shot in the top upper right is actually a shot of the outdoor amphitheater that connects the Wellness Center with the IL residences. It is located in the courtyard space between the two buildings. It combined with the indoor event center, Cornelia's, this is a perfect place, a perfect event space. They've already hosted a wedding this past summer. They're working on hosting musical events as well. So beyond the inherent benefits of multi-generational integration, these activities have become an additional revenue source for Davis as well. Next slide. So the Promenade building, which is the Wellness Center, houses also the fitness zone, which also creates additional revenue for Davis. It has become so popular within the community that they already have 1,200 members, most who are from outside of Davis itself. They offer all age classes and even do youth swim classes. One of the most important things for Davis was that their team members were considered during the design process, which included a break room with space and natural lighting to create a gathering area for staff. The all-age appeal of fitness center also allows it to become another benefit for staff who are given 24-hour access to the gym. The bottom right-hand corner shows the cottages. So cottages were also a part of the development that we were contracted to design. And earlier this year, we actually did an interview with Senior Housing News where we focused on the cottages. There are 16 cottages on the site. They're duplexes, so there's 32 units total. In talking with the ED, she said that they were a perfect transitional step for many seniors. They offer a familiar setting with a backyard and garage, with the added benefit of a maintenance-free lifestyle, the safety net of a 24-hour medical assistance, and the social and wellness benefits of full access to the Wellness Center and dining services. Next slide. Again, a photo on the left, a picture of one of our cottages. And then on the right, this is the aisle entry. And now, so when you look out of this window, you previously would have seen a large water tower, cell phone equipment. So Davis went to great lengths to relocate the tower and provide the quality of outdoor connections that would inspire residents from the entire community, including skilled nursing and assisted living, and connect with new amenities in the IL portion of Davis. Next slide. As a quick orientation to the floor plan, you can see the T-shape of the IL residences that are connected by the gray area that represents the back of house to the yellow area, which is the Wellness Center. We took care to focus on the amenity and give it a unique identity that was reinforced with custom branded signage. This is something we take for granted in the restaurants and services we all visit on a daily basis, but it's often overlooked in a senior living community, which has the inadvertent effect of making our communities feel institutional. And the added cost is negligible when considered with the overall. Next slide. This is the entry or the kind of pull up to the Isle residences to give you an idea of kind of what that looks like. And then the next slide. This slide shows the arrangement of the 141 residences and the relationship to the lobby. We find that whenever we can, it's good to open up space at the lobby to reconnect residents visually to reduce disorientation. So the picture on the right-hand side shows that main entrance and a second floor bridge that connects the two sides of the building. The next slides. This slide is the social center. It is located right off the main lobby and adjacent to the Isle dining venue. It features a breakfast and work area for residents. It's the spot where you can see the mail, the cocktail area, and the front entry. It's good because you can know everything that is going on without actually having to be involved in all of it too. Next slide. The cocktail club serves multiple purposes. Lunch is served here and it provides as a pre-function space for dinner. It is also a social hub that links the outdoor dining with the main courtyard and the elevator. One advantage we had with Davis was a generous amount of program space, and while not all the spaces will be used on a daily basis, they give the residents a lot of choices and variety throughout the week. During the design process, we tried to apply a similar philosophy to the Cascade restaurant. Next slide. Where we create multiple smaller venues and unique experiences for different types of dining and sizes of groups. This gives residents the opportunity to have options when they dine in the same venue. There's a main dining room, a chef's dining, which gives the patrons a view into the kitchen, and a small and large private dining room. This last slide shows our outdoor spaces that serve independent living. The outdoor dining patio is an extension of that Cascade restaurant and the cocktail club that allows residents yet another unique dining experience. There is a grill where the restaurant can host barbecues and has been a popular spot for community happy hours. The view of the reflecting pool is an extension of the first wow moment when you enter the residences at Davis. The main courtyard was a connection point you see from multiple parts of the campus, and thus we wanted to make a memorable moment. Again, we want to thank EFA and SAGE for letting us talk about this project, and of course, thank you to our client. As you all know, having a client with a vision and passion for senior living is what makes our job so rewarding. Charles Long, the CEO, and the Davis board had a moment during the pandemic where they could have hesitated, but instead they pushed forward, and their courage and vision are why we are talking to you today. So thank you.
So the jury appreciated how this project contributes to the wellness of residents and staff, and how it connects the community to its neighborhoods in an authentic way. The project includes facilities for weddings, rentals, public performances, and meetings. Since comparable amenities aren't available in the immediate neighborhood, neighbors are welcome to use all the facilities in the Wellness Center. As a result, the project achieves intergenerational exchange in a natural, unforced setting. The interiors of the center and the new independent living residences are warm, gracious, and inviting, with extensive use of natural materials. There are a variety of dining options from formal to informal, and many of the spaces, including the outdoor spaces, have a view of the nearby reflecting pond.
Great, thanks, Penny. Thanks, Tom. I'll do the same thing that Penny did, just give you a little background on Moorings Park. It's based in Naples, Florida. And Moorings Park is really the best of luxury retirement living. This is Grand Lake, which is their third campus in the Naples area within a 7-mile radius. Ran out of land on the main campus, did a second campus called Gray Oaks, and this third campus is called Grand Lake. So it's a very successful organization and caters to, again, the luxury market here in Naples. This project is for the clubhouse, which is a 272,000 square foot building. Out of that, the amenity portion, which is both for the resident activities and dining and so forth, is about 60,000 square feet. And it's on 3 levels. The levels 4 through 7 are penthouse type residences, well over 3,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, so very luxurious independent living residence. The campus is situated on a 55-acre lake to the west and south of that is a private golf course. So every independent living mid-rise building, of which there are maybe 12 or 14 of approximately 380 residential units, all have spectacular views. So this is a view looking at the entry into the clubhouse. If you walk right through the front doors, obviously the design is to take inspiration from the lake and the rippling water effect. And this is the sort of area speaks to or acts as a pre-function area. They have cocktail parties here and are constantly changing this area. When it's not being used for large resident events, it sits like this. You look straight through to an access direct onto the lake through the dining room. On the left side is a theater and private dining room. On the right side is a bar and grill room. And right to the left, it's sort of hard to see from this image, but is a glass elevator that connects the 3 clubhouse level area, from the lower level, mid, and then the upper level where they have the fitness area. Next slide. This is a view of the back of the clubhouse, which is what all the residents in the independent living mid-rise buildings would be seeing. So the design is obviously driven to be very exciting, very welcoming. They would look over the lake. They would see the pool area on the lower level, covered outdoor dining. The curvature glass on the second level is all dining, fine dining, and grill room. And then the tiered back level is all the wellness center, the Center for Healthy Living. The area behind that with the balconies, levels 4 through 7, those are the independent living residences. Next. And so as we get closer into the building, we're kind of approaching from the west side, and we're looking over the outdoor dining area that looks over the pool. So this is facing west, and it's taken obviously a sunny part in the day, but for the most part, until later in the evening, this is shaded. Off to the right, there's movable glass walls that open up, and there's a casual restaurant called Zest, and people can spill out here over and have breakfast and lunch. This venue's turned out to be so popular. It was originally only going to be open from like 8 to 2, 5 days a week, and now they've extended it to casual dinners, and it's open 7 days a week. So it's a very popular area here. Next. And this is the inside of that casual restaurant called Zest. And like the Davis community, we believe in really branding these environments. There were names developed for this restaurant, logos developed, special menu, different dishware, everything to make this experience really special. And there's a pizza oven in here that's just out of view to the right. People can come in and grab a quick drink and go. Everything is done via key fob. So this is an area that's quite busy and pretty active in the morning. Next. Now we're jumping back up to the second floor. This is what you would see if you came in the front door and looked to the right. There's a concierge style reception desk. And off to the left, you would be entering a private elevator lobby that takes resident up from the clubhouse to their private residences. The elevators go directly from this area and directly into the residence. So each one of them has shares sort of a private elevator. And off to the right, there's frosted glass opening doors that go into what Moorings Park kind of considers their discovery room, or their sales team work in there. So it's a very welcoming, bright, and open environment. Next. And we're now stepping into that area that you can see from the front, the dining room was exposed, and this is called the Bluestone. And it's a fine dining restaurant with, beautiful views of the lake and really great high ceilings. We've got a lot of different types of lighting effects that can be change the environment here. It can be very dramatic, it can be very bright. It depends on what kind of activities going on. And in the rear, the space is fairly open. And since this initial opening, the residents have actually requested that this area become even a little bit more special. So we've put some screening devices over the booth seating to separate the bar, which you see beyond, which is called Savor 26. Next. And here's a close-up of the bar. Again, the lake view is to the right, that beautiful curved glass window. Of course, we've got acoustical wood ceilings. And to address the bar, which seats 24 people, we floated some acrylic panels, sort of like a three-form type of material, which is backlit with colors that were inspired from the sunsets of the lake. So these dining rooms have beautiful views of the sunset at dinner time. The bar has a recessed 6-inch recess in it, so that the bar stools themselves are actually just counter height, which is a lot safer, but gives that bar experience. And the added benefit to that is that the bartender or the server is at eye level with the residents, and it just creates a really fun, engaging environment. Next. And then if you were coming in the next area, separate restaurant with a view into the kitchen, this is the Savor 26 that is right off to the right side of the bar. There's both chilled and unchilled wine storage in here. There's a beautiful kitchen suite in that open area with glass panels that can close that off. It can also act as an activity. There can be a teaching kitchen and chef events in there. And this is, again, just a little bit more casual than the fine dining. There's a little bit more energy with the noise and so forth. And adjacent to this is an outdoor covered dining area. What we like to do in these types of restaurants is provide a variety of seating with banquette and booth seating, which you'll see, and chairs, of course, with casters on the front, but it gives people who still enjoy the intimacy of booth seating or the comfort of a banquette the option. And if not, there's plenty of regular dining tables and chairs. Next. And another sort of key component to space planning this was to create some really flexible areas. So this is off of the Bluestone fine dining. There's movable wooden wall that can pocket back and open that space up. So there's many times during holidays where this would be open and set up just like the dining room and used for those big holidays. The majority of the time, those wooden walls are closed, and this becomes sort of a great high-end multi-purpose room with multimedia displays. It can be rearranged in many configurations, from meetings to luncheons and breakfasts. And so this is a room that is a real workhorse in terms of taking on many, many activities. Next. The other really key component that Moorings Park likes to include is a really well done theater room. This has the equipment to do really high quality movies. The acoustics are fantastic. The AV equipment is amazing. And these chairs there's 126 seats in here, and they're all on an ADA, sort of ramp where they're raised up as a ramp. That creates a really there's no raised stage here. And with performances and presenters, it creates a very intimate type of experience. This type of product, or this type of space, has become so popular. The residents have taken on the programming for this. They bring in their own speakers and their own entertainment here. This has sort of become such a hot area that reservations, people really book this area quickly because it only seats 126. So there is a way to broadcast whatever performance or lecture that is going on to the private dining room, which I just showed you, and to other areas in the campus. So they've done a really good job of making this a special place. Next. Next, Rob. On the third floor is the branded Center for Healthy Living for Morings Park. It includes a concierge style clinic with 4 exam rooms, blood draw, everything there, physical therapy area, a fitness area for strength training and cardio, a golf simulator, a group fitness studio that is quite large and can be divided into 2 smaller studios, an art studio, a lending library, and a full salon and spa. So it's a really great, it takes up the whole 3rd floor. In addition, there are some administrative offices there. And the fitness area and group fitness are part of that curved glass motif on the building, and they overlook the lake and golf course. Next slide. And the top of the building has these beautiful penthouse apartments. And so just to give you a little flavor of what it would be like to live at Morings Park, the interiors of the units are an open plan concept with 8 to 10 foot kitchen islands, large areas for dining, large master suites, full en suites for most of the 2nd and 3rd bedrooms, and all have beautiful balconies with views out to the west and the golf course. There's outdoor kitchens. So it's a beautiful place to live, beautiful apartment. Next. And I too would like to thank Morings Park for being such a visionary client, and the many, many partners we have. I can't thank them all here, but BSSW was a fantastic architect to work with, and Plant Morin did a great job of managing this project as the owner's rep. And our construction team was Suffolk Construction, who was a really great partner for this. So I'd like to thank them all at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. So the jury commended this project for hitting its goal of providing walkable, easily accessible amenities in a luxurious setting, while also managing to achieve LEED certification. The clubhouse provides for all the needs and interests a resident might have, from art to physical exercise, in a luxurious environment that reflects its coastal setting. The clubhouse uses innovative technologies to support aging in place, including Bluetooth sync hearing aids, and it provides diverse settings for live and recorded music, as well as presentations. And one of the things that a lot of members of the jury appreciated was that, for example, that presentation space is being used for residents to kind of share insights from their vocations as a way to promote community. Thanks.
You're on mute, Nick.
Let's try that again. There we go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Carpenter, and I'm associate and project architect with LRS Architects here in Portland, Oregon. And the project that we're discussing this morning is also in a Portland suburb of Happy Valley. The project, the Springs Living at Happy Valley. Just a couple quick stats on this project. It's basically 3 buildings consisting of memory care, assisted living, and independent living. It covers about 270,000 square feet spread across 7 acres and had a construction budget roughly of $61 million. When we started this project, we had a couple goals in mind. We wanted to encourage a social belonging, support wellness, and cultivate meaningful connections with the broader community. Next slide, Rob. And to do that, we looked at a couple different principles. We looked at the 15-minute community or 15-minute neighborhood principle. And that is to say that we wanted to try to get everything that you needed in your daily activities to be within a 15-minute commute, whether that was by walking, by bicycle, or some other mode of multimodal transportation. We also wanted to lay out this project in a horizontal mixed use orientation, meaning that everything was more or less on the ground level for the amenities spaces, instead of stacking everything vertically that you might see in another project. This helped promote residents and staff to join in, participate, and socialize in a thoroughfare that was easily accessible, had clear sight lines, and created a sense of safety and security as well. Next slide. The on-site amenities were also complemented by a surrounding retail development that was being concurrently built at the same time as this project. And it helped to avoid an isolated island effect that can plague senior living facilities when they're developed on newly acquired sites. In fact, this helped create a river cruise effect, promoting the residents to explore beyond the confines of their current community into larger activated spaces. Next slide. The amenities were in highly visible areas for the independent and assisted living residents. We emphasized a connection to nature and access to outdoor amenities that are central to the experience and well-being. Next slide. As you can see here, these interior courtyards provide an easy transition from interior space to exterior space, and also allow for, again, the connections to nature, for instance, with these raised garden beds. Now, all of these interventions didn't come without their challenges. The original site, located just to the south of where this project ultimately was built, checked many of the boxes that the typical senior living community needs. However, it was fairly isolated from the surrounding community. While we were assessing site constraints of that previous site, this site that the project was ultimately built on, the developer was looking for big box alternatives to retail. And so the question was posed, could senior living be the anchor? Could it be self-sustaining and also draw the community in? Now, to plop this project on this new site as an intervention doesn't create instantaneous connections. We still had to work. We had to figure out ways to leverage amenities between the senior living and lifestyle centers. For instance, create business partnerships with the Springs Living and, say, the surrounding dog grooming facility, or create after-hour banking time for residents to go and get their banking needs met. We had to reinforce natural and pedestrian connections, meaning that we had to de-emphasize vehicular traffic and emphasize the pedestrian on site. We also wanted to create similar aesthetics between the residential development and the commercial development. Use same materials to make them feel familiar, yet different. Next slide. Ultimately, we settled on this modern farmhouse aesthetic to accomplish this. It not only resonates with the locals, but Oregon has a rich farming history and a great collection of covered bridges throughout the state. In addition, many of the materials that have been historically used are also of human scale, meaning that they can be held in the hand, whether it be the board and batten siding or the stone used. The picture here shows the entry sequence into the project with a cover bridge effect and a water feature. Next slide. The high roof line of the covered bridge draws the user into the double height space of the main entry that creates a voluminous area that extends to the interior courtyard and terminates with a glass canopy that allows filtered light to pass through, much like it might in an old barn missing portions of its roof. Next slide. The community areas on the inside and outside allow for active and casual interaction. Next slide. The oversized fireplace just off the main entry creates a mass and sense of permanence. It also creates a node or a meeting space. So when residents say to visitors or other family members, meet me at the fireplace, everyone knows where to go. Next slide. Because the materials were simple and contemporary for this project, we felt it necessary to use a variation of scale. This variation of scale allowed for a distinction between the semi-public and more intimate spaces. As you can see here, we have a large paved patio space, but in the center we have what you could call a small covered bridge that allows for a more intimate meeting space in the middle. Next slide. These similar materials used on the outside were also used on the inside for many of the amenity spaces, including the pool area. Simple yet concise, the materials allowed for a replication of style and made all of the spaces feel familiar to not only the residents, but visitors alike. Centralizing the services and the amenities, next slide, Rob, allowed for barrier-free movement between the spaces. Staff are easily accessible by residents, and they can easily move between, say, the kitchen and other back-of-house services. Speaking of the kitchen, it was centrally located for easy access between the independent living and the assisted living. This created a faster food service and more efficiency and better quality and experience for staff and residents. Next slide. Because an emphasis was put on overall resident well-being, the project applied and achieved a FitWell certification during the design phase. We emphasized the use of daylighting, outdoor views, and the promotion of physical movement and healthy lifestyle. The project achieved high marks in site access, outdoor spaces, resident dwellings, shared spaces, and operational and management procedures. Next slide. Through thoughtful details and materials, the project captures the spirit and lifestyle of the local community. The project's success as an anchor tenant in an open-air lifestyle center offers us an exciting glimpse into the future of senior living. No longer disconnected and out of sight, the Springs Living at Happy Valley showcases the incredible benefits integrating senior living projects into the heart of a mixed-use development. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. So the jury appreciated this project for the thoughtful way it was integrated into the adjacent mixed-use project. The jury noted that having retail, restaurant, and wellness amenities nearby encourages residents to get out and walk, socialize, and feel like they have their own neighborhood in a way that benefits both the mixed-use project and the community. The jury also appreciated that the project takes inspiration from its Pacific Northwest setting, borrowing from barns and covered bridges and farmhouses for its massing and materials. Members of the jury particularly liked the deconstructed barn seating area that's directly outside the entry and the kind of literal extension of the modern farmhouse aesthetic from the lobby into that space. Thanks.
Next slide, Rob. Did we lose Rob?
No, you didn't lose me. You lost control of my cursor. Sorry, Tim. We're gonna get back there. My mouse is not cooperating. There you go.
Good morning again, everyone. Again, my name's Tim Gordon, and I'm an architect with Scott Edwards Architecture in Portland, Oregon. And this is Rose Villa Retirement Community Campus that's down in Milwaukee, Oregon, which is about 20 minutes south of downtown Portland. So this was a truly amazing experience for a variety of reasons. Rose Villa was initially founded in 1975, and in 2006, it sort of languished over time, and most of the buildings on campus you can see sort of similar to what's in the lower right-hand corner, sort of low level, almost sort of bunker. There was a lot of CMU. And in 2006, Vassar Bird came on as the CEO, and she started a process of completely reimagining and reinventing Rose Villa with this idea of a small town. And that's why I really felt like this was such an incredible experience, because it really does feel when you're on campus like it's a town. It has a central, more urban core that sort of filters out to medium density, and then single family, smaller, lower density off to the periphery. You get up high enough, you have views of the Willamette River nearby, and downtown Portland off in the distance, which is pretty cool. In 2014, they started phase one and started that urban core. In 2019, phase two, we were brought on board and did sort of 3 simultaneous projects, taking down old residential buildings and inserting higher density new projects, including a big art studio and sort of multifamily. And then this is phase 3. This is sort of completing this round of reinvention of the campus. And so this is part of the urban core. And you would think that it's 2 buildings. On the left is Madrona Grove, which is residential care and skilled nursing. And on the right is Schroeder Lofts, which is an independent living, 35 lofts on 4 floors. But really, it was one project, which made it significantly more complicated and really required everyone, the clients, the residents, all of the consultants, architects, and the contractor to come together to get this done. It's connected underground. Underneath Schroeder Lofts is a full subgrade parking for the residents, and then that connects into the basement level of Madrona Grove. And so one construction document set, one built simultaneously, one permit, all of that, even though Madrona Grove with a skilled nursing requirements from code was drastically different than what was required for Schroeder Lofts. The main goals of this project, well, you can see there's 3 components. Really, there's Schroeder Lofts, Madrona Grove, and then what you'll see in pictures later is this really large outdoor courtyard, which was developed as an outdoor room with really blending this indoor-outdoor. The main goals for the project were just aging in place for the current resident population. There was an old Madrona Grove skilled nursing facility immediately off the picture to the left that was from 1975 and dark and one level, and they really needed to redo that. And that was the goal of this project, is to basically building Schroeder Lofts, and all of the residents coming in for that was able to pay for the construction of Madrona Grove, which is not something that brings in an income to the campus. So aging in place, connection to nature, and just that idea of home for every resident when they come to the campus, to really still feel like they have a home. Rob, next slide. Maybe.
Rob, maybe try using your right arrow. Tim, do you know any songs, karaoke to?
Oh, you don't want that, believe me.
There we go.
Can you go back? I'll skim through the plans really quickly. At Schroeder, one more, there we go. Schroeder Lofts at the top has a lot of amenities for the whole campus and for the surrounding neighborhood. So the goal to the right is actually a preschool that has heavy involvement with the residents and brings in kids and parents from the surrounding neighborhood. To the left corner is the treasure house, which is sort of a resale shop that the residents run and has an amazing vinyl collection. Yellow is a clinic, and you can see we do still have a big amenity space. You'll see pictures later, and lofts at the lower level. Madrona Grove, you can see its organization at the bottom right-hand corner is really, well, at the far right-hand corner is a coffee shop, cafe that is open to the public. Big covered porch, sort of that indoor-outdoor flow. And then the sort of elbow of the building is developed as all staff space, so back of house space, so that they can vertically connect from the basement where the laundry and storage and everything is all the way up to the top of the building. And they also have, and they can get to all of the resident spaces quickly as needed, but there's also staff break and a classroom and all of the extra spaces that need for supporting the resident population. Next slide. This is actually the third floor, and showing this, you can see Schroeder is an extra story taller than Madrona Grove. So from Madrona Grove, this is the administrative floor. So all of the admin spaces were spread out over the whole campus previously, and now they're all consolidated into this level of Madrona Grove. And the green is all outdoor spaces. That's useful to mention with that indoor-outdoor flow. We really tried to provide significantly large decks, terraces, patios for every resident. And then even the administrative level has a significant amount of outdoor space up on the roof with amazing views. Next slide. The interesting thing with the top floor of Schroeder, it's that idea of home, and you actually come up, the elevator core is the pink sort of like connection point, and it has glass on both sides, so you come up and you really get a sense of what level you're on, and the view into the courtyard and the view out across the campus and down to the Willamette River. You actually go outside onto the green at the south side of the bar of Penthouse Lofts, and so they go across this landscaped terrace that's up at the fourth floor before going into the front door of your loft. And then at the far right is a large common outdoor terrace. Next slide. Here's a picture of the courtyard. In the foreground, you see the enclosed Madrona Grove garden, because it's not a memory care facility per se, but they do have residents that have cognitive issues. So they do have access control, and they have this outdoor space that the residents can use and garden. And there's actually the circle that's in the foreground is a kid water space. So they bring the preschoolers over here to have some activities and play and really sort of integrate them with the skilled nursing residents. Next slide. Here's a view of Schroeder Lofts. The sort of kernel idea of the design for Schroeder Lofts was an old, brick warehouse building that was turned into sort of modern lofts. So there's a mixture of modern and industrial sort of design elements and flavor. And you can see that the upper floor steps back, so it's ringed by terraces. Next slide. This is a diagram, sort of the partie of Schroeder Loft. So if you started with a big box in section, we actually took the first floor and we slid it over, which created the ability to bring the sidewalk up and actually into the a covered walkway sidewalk that goes along all of the common amenity spaces on the street side. And then it created terraces on the second floor on the courtyard side. And then again, the upper level steps back. Rob, can you go back a slide one? They can see yeah, so you can see here that lit area along the bottom. That's actually the sidewalk. So you go in the main entryway, the sidewalk terminates, you go up into the building, and then you come back down again to connect to the sidewalk. All right, next slide, and next one. We really tried very hard to bring in as many sustainable elements. We had a lot of daylighting analysis. We really oversized the fenestration in both buildings. We did lighting analysis, and there was actually a study done with the residents in Madrona Grove where they wore lanyards, and that did sensed how much light they would get over the course of a day. And so we developed the lighting in Madrona Grove to work with their circadian rhythms, and again, bringing as much indoor-outdoor flow as possible, really efficient systems. And then the Rosie system, which is a gray water recycling system, is in Schroeder Lofts. It takes water from showers and sinks and washing machines and recycles it down in the basement and then puts it back up into the building for toilets. And it can also be used outside for landscaping. And they're saving, you can see 303,000 gallons of water every year by using the system. And it's recycled organic stuff is everywhere because it's recycling the gray water. Next slide. Here's one of the resident rooms on the left. All of the decks are oversized. They step back into the building 2 feet and then cantilever out 5 feet. So every deck is 7 feet deep, plenty for outdoor living. And then I think the smallest one was probably 12 feet wide. So it's a pretty significant square footage of outdoor space. This is on the right is the main entryway to Schroeder Lofts. This steel frame will actually eventually be covered in flowering vines and has cafe light hanging. So it will be a very inviting, sort of warm and cozy and green sort of like aperture that you pass through. And beyond that is the elevator core. So you have the glass on both sides. It was very important for the owner that we break Schroeder Lofts down. And so on the right, you can see the sort of vertical wood slat, a little bit more modern. And on the left, we simplified the color palette down and paired it up with the buildings that were immediately across the street to the left, so that you sort of, it's its own thing, but then it starts to blend in with the rest of the urban part of the campus as well. Next slide. This is the common space lounge with a lot of, it's heavily used. It has a kitchen at the north end for, classes and things like that, and a lot of games at the south end. Next slide. Here's an example of one of the resident rooms on the upper floor of Schroeder Lofts. Wood ceilings in the living and dining kitchen space, and again, ringed by outdoor terraces. 2 of the lofts have indoor-outdoor fireplaces and even larger terraces and some covered areas with trellis above. Next slide. Here's the outdoor common terrace at the end of Schroeder Lofts, and this is the garden terrace up at the top floor where you walk across all of this to access your front door for the upper level penthouse lofts. Next slide. Madrona Grove. The gestalt for this came from Vassar. Actually, she brought in a picture of a modern farmhouse that she just loved and asked if we could turn this into a bigger building, which over time it sort of evolved, and I think it came out. It still feels pretty residential, even though it's a good scale of building. You have the big terrace covered porch at the front, and that's where the cafe is, you can see. Next slide. I should mention that all of the interior spaces, the resident spaces, were done with an architecture firm we worked with, GTA, out of Portland, Maine, and we had the model in the cloud, the Revit model in the cloud, so that they could be working on their end at the same time we were working on our end, which was a really great collaboration. It's a picture of the coffee shop. This is the inside elbow of Madrona Grove, and you can see the sort of the garden and the tiered outdoor spaces. Next slide. It's really, for Madrona Grove, just so much about the quality of life and enhancing that for the residents as much as possible.
Well,
Next slide.
Tim, my mouse is not working again.
Uh-oh.
Let me say, while I continue to plug away at this, that we're at the top of the hour. All of our panelists have the ability to stay around a little bit longer. We're almost done with the presentation. So if you're able to stay on, please do. And if you have to drop off, please complete the survey that you will be prompted with at the end.
And if you have to drop off, we will be sending out a link to the recording to all webinar registrants. And so you will be able to watch the recording and catch up on anything that you miss.
All right. Apologies, everybody. I'm going a little bit long. This is interiors for Madrona Grove. Again, trying very hard to do that home, that sense of home, a sense of arrival in a home and modern farmhouse, but with fun colors, make it happy on the inside. Next. Here's one of the kitchens. They have a common space kitchen. There's 2 households on each floor with 16 residents, and that 8 and 8, that creates a neighborhood, and that happens on 2 floors. So there's 36 residents, and the rooms can be connected so that we only actually did that for 1 pair of residents, but they put 2 beds in 1 room and then had a living room in the other unit, the other like apartment room. Next. It's one of the living room areas, and you can see a resident room beyond, and the sunroom in the far right off in the distance. Next slide. Here's one of the resident rooms. There's a lot of jogs and corners with this building, so many of the rooms have windows on 2, sometimes even 3 sides, and 5 of the units have terraces at the ground floor where you could actually roll the bed out onto the terrace. So if the resident is bedridden and they're not able to get up and go for a walk, they can still get outside in their bed. And if they don't have that, the terrace, then every room has a window seat. And you can see we really did oversize the windows. On the right is one of the resident bathrooms. Next. This is the administrative suite up on the upper floor. Really wonderful spaces for the staff and a lot of outdoor spaces. We discovered after we actually had the building built and got up there on the right-hand side that those windows that are on the left of that space actually perfectly frame a view of Mount Hood off in the distance, which was serendipitous. Next slide. So again, Rose Villa, Milwaukee, Oregon, and this is Schroeder Lofts in Madrona Grove. And it was such a wonderful experience working with the whole team. Everything from full-scale mock-ups of the Madrona Grove units to VR displays where the residents could walk around the Revit model with VR goggles, and just really embedding the residents and the staff as much as possible in the whole process. And we're really happy with what we came up with. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Tim. I'll go through the jury comments quickly so we can get to any questions. The jury felt that this project had a lot of innovative components, particularly integrating all the different uses, independent living, supportive living, childcare, and the larger community around that shared courtyard. The jury appreciated the fact that the staff are gathered in probably one of the best spaces in the whole building, up on the 3rd floor there with light and views. And then the jury also appreciated the commitment to environmental concerns, including the ROSI system and the use of circadian lighting systems in the resident spaces. The jury appreciated that everything was well organized around the courtyard, and aesthetically took inspiration from its Northwest setting with the use of wood and stone and glass, updated with black industrial fixtures and detailing. And the result is obviously an inviting, light-filled environment that connects well to its community and setting. And I think we're now going to move on to questions. Rob?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you all so much. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties that wasted a little bit of time. This concludes the AIA CES education portion session of the course, but we're not quite done. Everyone will stick around, and we do have some time for some questions if you have any. You should see a Q&A button in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. You can just click on that to type in your question if you have any. Let's see, we've got a couple, it looks like. Can we access the presentation following the call? And the answer is yes. I believe the presentation will be set to all that are registered for the webinar. And Rose Villa, where were the window treatments? Were the window treatments manual or electronic?
They were manual in Schroeder, and I think in some places in Madrona Grove, they're electronic. So, yes.
Nice. All right. That's all the questions we've got from our attendees right now. Penny, how big is Davis Community? How many residents is that serving?
Like as far as the total continuum of care between skilled nursing and honestly, you caught me off guard. I'm not sure. I could find out and get back to you on that.
This
but
is beautiful amenities. I'm imagining a pretty large group of people.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Rob, if I can just jump in, we will be sending out a link to the recording with a copy of the presentation, and we'll also include links if you're interested in potentially serving on a jury for this EFA competition or any other EFA competitions. We will include a link to a form that you can fill out if you're interested in that too.
Great, thank you, Laurie. And again, thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to the award winners for your excellent work and for your sharing your time and your expertise. In just a moment, you'll be prompted to fill out a course evaluation survey, and we'd appreciate hearing your thoughts on today's session. Also, all webinar registrants will receive the link, as Laurie just mentioned. So on behalf of SAGE, thank you all very much for joining us.
Okay. Thanks, Rob and Laurie. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.